Good evening, and welcome to Delaware's 19th Annual Poetry Out Loud State Final Competition. We have both new and returning students for the night for this year, and we're very excited to see them all perform tonight. My name is Christian Wills, also known as Anthem in some circles. I am a former contestant of Poetry Out Loud back in 2016, so you guys do the math. A graduate of the University of Delaware in 2020, so again, you do the math. And a poet within the Wilmington downtown area. I'm honored to serve as tonight's Master of Ceremonies. I'm coming into my second year here, and I'm glad to be returning again to host this year's Poetry Out Loud. If you were here last year, we celebrated the 50th year of hip hop with DJ Tim Dog. And this year, we're excited to share with you all and have more fun with you as we did last year, and to present some more fun as tonight's contestants perform. Before we begin tonight's poetry recitation contest program, I would ask the audience to please turn off all of their cell phones, including you. And throughout the contest, please do not use flash photography. I want to acknowledge some things tonight and some people as well. In 2005, the National Endowment of the Arts and the Poetry Foundation joined together to create what is now known as Poetry Out Loud, a program that encourages the nation's youth to learn about great poetry through exploration, memorization, and recitation. State arts agencies of the United States bring Poetry Out Loud to every state, including the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, and the District of Columbia, with more than 100,000 students participating each year. Poetry Out Loud helps students master public speaking skills, build self-confidence, and learn about the literary heritage of poetry. Over the last 10 years, Poetry Out Loud has reached nearly 3 million students and 50,000 teachers across the country. Poetry Out Loud National Recitation Contest satisfies many of the National Council of Teachers of English Language Arts standards and aligns with several Common Core standards. It brings new energy to an ancient art by returning it to its classrooms across the nation, as well as community centers, libraries, and other creative spaces, just to name a few. Tonight, we have 11 finalists that are competing for the state championship, but our 12th finalist, Ms. Jamie Feldman of Wilmington Friends School, is not able to make it tonight due to concerns to her health. We wish her the best, and we hope to see her, hopefully, again next year. These poems have been selected by the students from an anthology of poetry classes compiled by the Poetry Foundation. At this time, I'd like to ask the Executive Director of the Delaware Division of the Arts to come up and give their opening remarks, Ms. Jessica Bell.
Thank you, Christian, and thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. This evening promises to be a fun and enriching experience. I just want to offer my sincere congratulations to all of the competing students and the sponsoring teachers who have participated in this statewide event. On behalf of the Delaware Division of the Arts, it's my pleasure to join the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation for Delaware's 19th Annual Poetry Out Loud State Finals Contest. As Christian mentioned, Poetry Out Loud is a national arts education program that encourages the study of great poetry, offering free educational materials and a dynamic recitation competition for high school students across the country. This program helps students master public speaking skills, build self-confidence, and learn about literary history and contemporary life. As Delaware schools continue to provide outstanding educational opportunities for their students, Partnerships like Poetry Out Loud offer an excellent means to engage students, teach important skills, and share with the broader community the accomplishments of our young people. The 11 finalists competing tonight demonstrate their commitment to poetry, not only as a written art form, but as a literary form that is richer when it is recited. Making the evening even more special is the division's efforts to bring the art form of poetry to you live, whether here in this auditorium or live streamed through YouTube. Thanks to everyone far and wide for supporting our students and supporting this program. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mac Wathen, who is the chair of the Delaware State Arts Council.
Great, thanks very much, Jessica. On behalf of the State Arts Council, I want to welcome you to Poetry Out Loud. It's one of the most fun, interesting, exciting arts events in the state every year, and I'm glad to be here. Now, following Christian's lead, I graduated from high school in 1973, so as he would say, you do the math. It's a lot of math. All right. So the people that have the toughest jobs in the room tonight are sitting up there in the balcony, and they are our judges. So I want to introduce them to you, and then we'll give them a round of applause at the end. First is Amy Baker Sheraton. She is currently serving as the Education Associate for Secondary English Language Arts Curriculum and Instruction at the Delaware Department of Education. During her career as a high school English teacher, she infused her passion for literature into her daily life, guiding students in the discovery of the transformative power of language. And outside of public education, Amy has performed with several Sussex County community theater groups and chorales as a singer and an actor. She is thrilled to be a part of Poetry Out Loud, and not only to nurture literary talent, but also to foster confidence, self-expression, and lifelong appreciation for the arts. The next judge is Sarah Bronson. Sarah is a poet and a retired professor from Penn State University, whose favorite forms of literature are letters, essays, and poems. Sarah feels that poems are most loved for their ability to transcend what can be communicated by other forms. As a child, Sarah's father read her poems at bedtime every night, and she still fondly remembers those. Next is Neil Kirschling. Neil is the executive director for the Delaware Arts Alliance, where his professional responsibilities include advocating for key arts funding and policies at the federal, state, and local levels. He's also personally connected to the arts as a theater performer. Our next judge is State Senator Elizabeth Lockman, Tizzy Lockman, who represents the 3rd Senate District, which encompasses communities in Central and West Wilmington and reaches into Newcastle County south, including portions of Newport. Senator Lockman was elected to the Senate in 2018, becoming just the second African-American woman elected to the General Assembly's upper chamber. Before her time as a state senator, she studied film in her early career and was able to see how arts, culture could be used to connect communities and influence policy. This firsthand awareness of the influence of the arts and culture in thriving communities is one of the reasons that Senator Lockman serves as a co-chair of the Delaware Arts and Culture Caucus, a bipartisan group that focuses on cultivating a legislature that is dedicated to greater understanding of the value of arts, culture, and cultural offerings in the state of Delaware. Tonight, our accuracy judge is Dr. Lauren Conrad, and she is the Education Associate for Virtual and Performing Arts at the Delaware Department of Education, and has the tremendous honor to oversee all visual and performing arts programs in public and charter districts, pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. She provides professional learning to educators and supports high-quality, culturally responsive, and standards-aligned arts education statewide. Outside of her Department of Education responsibilities, Dr. Conrad is an active classical musician in both Wilmington and Philadelphia. So please join me in thanking our judges and adjudicators tonight.
Thank you, Mac. Appreciate that. Coming onto the stage is our state coordinator, Poetry Out Loud, and the University of Delaware's Poet in Residence, and my good friend, Dr. Tracy Curry.
Good evening. So before I get started with the logistics of the contest, I have to do a shout out to Dr. Joanne Belingit, who would be standing right here in this place if she were here. She has been doing Poetry Out Loud for over 15 plus years alongside Sheila Ross. And so it's because of them I actually stand here. So Dr. Belingit probably is watching us right now from the Philippines. So thank you. So let's get to it. The logistics of the contest. Poetry Out Loud starts with the high schools across the state of Delaware registering for Poetry Out Loud. And it begins in the classroom as students select poems to recite from the anthology of more than 900 classic and contemporary poems. The program follows a pyramid structure. After a classroom contest and studying the poetry, champions will advance to a school-wide competition, then to the regional and state, which is here today, and ultimately to the national finals, which this year will take place from April 30th to May 2nd in Washington, D.C. Each winner at the state level will receive $200 and an all-expense-paid trip with an adult chaperone to Washington to compete for the national championship. The state winner's school will receive $500 stipend for the purchase of poetry books. The first runner-up in each state will receive $100 with $200 for the school library. A total of $50,000 in awards and school stipends will be awarded at the state and national level contests, and with the national champion taking home $20,000. Right, exactly. I heard that. Contestants this evening will be evaluated from the following areas: physical presence, voice projection and articulation, interpretation, evidence of understanding the poem, and overall performance and word accuracy. As this is a recitation contest, it is very important that we hold all applause until each round is completed. Tonight, the finalists will recite one poem in each of the 3 rounds. Christian will introduce the contestants. The contestants will recite a poem, and when finished, DJ Tim Dog will play while the judges finish their scoring. So without further ado, are y'all ready? That's right. Let's begin.
$20,000. That's a lot of math. All right. So our our first finalist for the night, coming from Sussex Technical High School, Caliana Velasquez.
The Sorrow of Love by William Butler Yeats. The brawling of a sparrow in the eaves, the brilliant moon and all the milky sky, and all that famous harmony of the leaves had blotted out man's image and his cry. A girl arose that had red, mournful lips, and seemed the greatness of the world in tears, doomed like Odysseus in the laboring ships, and proud as Priam murdered with his peers, arose, and on the instant clamorous eaves, the climbing moon upon an empty sky, and all that lamentation of the leaves, could but compose man's image and his cry.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you.
Up next, from Sussex Central High School, Nife Anawo.
Legacies by Nikki Giovanni. Her grandmother called her from the playground. Yes, ma'am? I want you to learn how to make rolls, said the old woman proudly. But the little girl didn't want to learn how, because she knew, even if she couldn't say it, that would mean when the old one died, she would be less dependent on her spirit. So she said, I don't want to know how to make no rolls, with her lips poked out. And the old woman wiped her hands on her apron, saying, Lord, these children. And neither of them ever said what they meant. And I guess nobody ever does.
Our third finalist, hailing from Sussex Academy of Arts and Sciences, Harrison Dabbs.
In Praise of My Bed by Meredith Holmes. At last I can be with you. The grinding hours since I left your side. The labor of being fully human, working my opposable thumb, talking and walking upright. Now I have unclasped, unzipped, stepped out of, husked, soft, a beer only. I do nothing but point my bare feet into your clean smoothness. Feel your quiet strength, the whole length of my body. I close my eyes, hear myself moan. So grateful to be held this way.
Do I love you?
Our fourth contestant, hailing from Smyrna High School, Joelle Caternor.
Listening in Deep Space by Diane Theo. We've always been out looking for answers, telling stories about ourselves, searching for connection, choosing to send out Stravinsky and whale song, which, in translation, might very well be our undoing instead of a welcome. We launch satellites, probes, telescopes, unfolding like origami, navigating geomagnetic storms, major disruptions. We listen through arrays adjusted eagerly to hear the news that we are not alone. Considering the history at home, in houses, across continents, oceans, even in quests armed with good intentions, what one seeker has done to another. What will we do when we find each other?
Our fifth contestant, coming from Sanford School, is Perrin Brown.
Backdrop addresses Cowboy by Margaret Atwood. Star-spangled cowboy, sauntering out of the almost silly West. On your face, a porcelain grin, tugging a papier-mâché cactus on wheels behind you with a string. You are innocent as a bathtub full of bullets. Your righteous eyes, your laconic trigger fingers, people the streets with, villains. As you move, the air in front of you blossoms with targets. And you leave behind you a heroic trail of desolation. Beer bottles slaughtered by the side of the road, bird skulls bleaching in the sunset. I ought to be watching from behind a cliff or a cardboard storefront when the shooting starts. Hands clasped in admiration, but I am elsewhere. Then what about me? What about the I confronting you on that border you are always trying to cross? I am the horizon you ride towards, the thing you can never lasso. I am also what surrounds you, my brain scattered with your tin cans, bones, empty shells, the litter of your invasions. I am the space you desecrate as you pass through.
Representing St. Mark's High School, Abigail Ehemann.
Ice by Gail Mazur. In the warming house, children lace their skates, bending, choked over their thick jackets. A Franklin stove keeps the place so cozy, it's hard to imagine why anyone would leave, clumping across the frozen beach to the river. December is always the same at Ware's Cove. The first sheer ice, black, then white, and deep, until the city sends trucks of men with wooden barriers to put up the boys' hockey rink. An hour of skating after school, of trying wobbly figure eights, an hour of distances moved backwards without falling. Then, twilight. The warming house steamy with girls pulling on boots, their chafed legs aching. Outside, the hockey players keep playing, slamming the round, black puck until it's dark, until supper. At night, a shy girl comes to the cove with her father. Although there isn't music, they glide arm in arm onto the blurred surface together, braced like dancers. She thinks she'll never be so happy, for who else will find her graceful? Find her perfect, skate with her in circles outside the emptied rink forever.
Our next finalist, coming from Red Lion Christian Academy, Hunter Brown.
Insomnia by Dana Joya. Now you hear what the house has to say. Pipes clanking, water running in the dark, the mortgage walls shifting in discomfort, and voices mounting in an endless drone of small complaints, like the sounds of a family that year by year you've learned how to ignore. But now you must listen to the things you own, all that you've worked for these past years. The murmur of property, of things in disrepair, the moving parts about to come undone and twisting in the sheets. Remember all the faces you could not bring yourself to love. How many voices have escaped you? The venting furnace, the floorboards underfoot, the steady accusations of the clock numbering the minutes no one will mark, the terrible clarity this moment brings, the useless insight, the unbroken, dark.
Up next, from Paul M. Hodgson Vocational Technical High School, Maiss Hussein.
Things You May Find Hidden in My Ear by Musab Abu Toha. For Alicia M. Quesnell, MD. 1. When you open my ear, touch it gently. My mother's voice lingers somewhere inside. Her voice is the echo that helps recover my equilibrium when I feel dizzy during my attentiveness. You may encounter songs in Arabic, poems in English I recite to myself, or a song I chant to the chirping birds in our backyard. When you stitch the cut. Don't forget to put all these back in my ear. Put them back in order, as you would do with books on your shelf. 2. The drone's buzzing sound, the roar of an F-16, the screams of bombs falling on houses, on fields, and on bodies of rockets flying away, rid my small ear canal of them all. Spray the perfume of your smiles on the incision. Inject the song of life into my veins to wake me up. Gently beat the drum so my mind may dance with yours, my doctor, day and night.
From Mount Sophia Academy comes our next finalist, Olivia Stevens.
I Remember by Thomas Hood. I remember the house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wink too soon, nor brought too long a day. But now I often wish the night had borne my breath away. I remember the roses red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light. The lilacs where the robins built, and where my brother sat the laburnum on his birthday. The tree is living yet. I remember where I was used to swing, and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. My spirit flew in feathers then. That is so heavy now. And summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. I remember the fir trees dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance. But now, 'tis little joy to know I'm farther off from heaven than when I was a boy.
Coming up next, all the way from MOT Charter High School, Grace Sullivan.
Object Lesson by Claire Schwartz. You learn to recognize beauty by its frame. In the gilded hall, in the gilded frame, her milky neck extended as she peers over the drawn bath. A target, a study, a lesson. She requires you to be beautiful. You should save her, no matter the price. No matter the price, the collector will take it. His collection makes him good. When he lends the woman's image to the museum where school children stand before it, anointed with lessons in color and feeling. Pay attention! The teacher scolds the fidgeter in back. Bad. The child whose movement calls to her own beauty. The child whose wails insist his mother is most beautiful of all. Eyes this way, the teacher syrups. All that grows, rots. Good little stillnesses, guardians to be. If you are good, one day an embossed invitation will arrive at the door of the house you own. You will sit next to the collector, light chattering along the chandeliers, your napkin shaped like a swan. To protect your silk, you snap its neck with flourish, the blood beautiful reddening your cheek as you slip into the chair drawn just for you. Sit, the chair says to the patron. Stand, to the guard. The guard shifts on blistered feet. She loves you. She loves you not. The children pluck the daisy bulb, discard their little sons in the gutter.
Last but not least, for our final recitation of round one, from Delaware Valley Classical School, Jono McGarvey.
Brother, I've Seen Some, by Kabir, translated by Arvind Krishna Marotra. Brother, I've seen some astonishing sights. A lion keeping watch over pasturing cows. A mother delivered after her son was. A guru prostrated before his disciple. Fish spawning on treetops. A cat carrying away a dog. A gunny sack driving a bullock cart. A buffalo going out to graze, sitting on a horse. A tree with its branches in the earth, its roots in the sky. A tree with flowering roots. This verse, says Kabir, is your key to the universe. if you can figure it out.
This concludes round one. Please feel free to applaud the contestants' recitations before we begin round two. They've done a wonderful job so far. Learning and reciting poetry develops the mind and the imagination. We commend these students for their study, memorization, and their performance of some of the most influential and timeless poems of the English language. Poetry out loud will prove valuable in school and in life. Success of these students will partially depend on how well they present themselves in public, whether speaking to one person or many. Public speaking is a valuable skill people use every day in the workplace and in their own community. The contestants will be judged on a few things, a few criteria. Physical appearance, physical presence, considering the use of eye contact, body language, and poise. Voice and articulation, considering the student's volume, pace, intonation, rhythm, and proper pronunciation. Interpretation. This category evaluates the interpretive and performance choices made by the student. Recitation is about conveying a poem's sense through its language. This is a challenging task, but a strong performance will rely on a powerful internalization of the poem rather than distracting gestures or unnecessary emoting. Evidence of understanding measures a student's comprehension and mastery of the poem itself. In a strong recitation, the meaning of the poem will be powerfully and clearly conveyed to the audience. The student will offer an interpretation that deepens and enlivens the poem, meaning messages, allusions, irony, shifts of tone, and other nuances will be captured by the performance itself. A great performer may even make the audience see a poem in a brand new way, unlike ever seen before. And overall performance. This is worth a bit more than other categories with a value of up to 9 points. This category elevates the total success of the performance, the degree to which the recitation has become more than the sum of its parts. Consider whether the student's physical presence, voice of articulation, dramatic appropriateness, and evidence of understanding all seem on target and unified to breathe life into the poem. And of course, word accuracy. Moving on to round two, starting us off, our first finalist, Caliana Velasquez from Sussex Technical High School.
Bent to the Earth by Blas Manuel de Luna. They had hit Reuben. With the high beams had blinded him so that the van he was driving full of Mexicans going to pick tomatoes would have to stop. Reuben spun the van into an irrigation ditch, spun the 5-year-old me awake to immigration officers, their batons already out. already looking for the soft spots on the body, to my mother being handcuffed and dragged away to a van, to my father trying to show them our green cards. They let us go. But Alvaro was going back. So was his brother Fernando. So was their sister Sonia. Their mother did not escape, and so was going back. Their father was somewhere in the field and was free. There were no great truths revealed to me then, no wisdom given to me by anyone. I was a child who had seen what a piece of polished wood could do to a face, who had seen his father about to lose the one he loved, who had some friends who would never return, who later that morning bent to the earth and went to work.
Coming back to the stage, our second finalist from Sussex Central High School, Nife Anawo.
Self-Inquiry Before the Job Interview by Gary Soto. Did you sneeze? Yes, I rid myself of the imposter inside me. Did you iron your shirt? Yes, I used the steam of mother's hate. Did you wash your hands? Yes, I learned my hygiene from a raccoon. I prayed on my knees, and my knees answered with pain. I gargled. I polished my shoes until I saw who I was. I inflated my resume by employing my middle name. I walked to the interview. Early. The sun like a ring on an electric stove. I patted my hair as I entered the wind of a revolving door. The guard said, "For a guy like you, it's the 19th floor." The economy was up. Flags whipped in every city plaza. This I saw for myself. This I saw for myself as I rode the elevator. Empty, because everyone had a job but me. Did you clean your ears? Yes, I heard my fate in the drinking fountains. Idiotic. Did you slice a banana into your daily mush? I added a pinch of salt, 2 raisins to sweeten my breath. Did you slice the banana into your daily mush? Yes. I added a pinch of salt and 2 raisins to sweeten my breath. Did you remember your pen? I remembered my fingers as the elevator opened. I shook hands that dripped like a dirty sea. I found a chair and desk. My name tag said my name. Through the glass ceilings, I saw the heavy rumps of CEOs. Outside my window, the sun was a burning stove. All of us pushing papers to keep it going.
Our third finalist from Sussex Academy of Arts and Sciences, Harrison Dabbs.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love not too much, but how, when thou hast made me such, and dost thy gifts bestow, how can I love too much? Though I must fear to lose and drown my joy in care, through all its thorns, I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou, I know not why, didst kill my childish trust, that breach with toil did I repair because I must, in spite of frighting schemes with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams. So far I have hoped well. But the heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought, shall quite exculpate thee. I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? This love from which began my question, sad and vain, justifies thee to man.
Our next finalist, coming from Smyrna High School, Joelle Caternor.
Son, Daughter by Kai Conradi. In a dream, my dad fell from the top of a steep white mountain down into a blue crevasse like the space between two waves, where the light shines through just enough to tell you, you will miss this life dearly. The falling took years. I could hear him moving through air, and then finally, nothing. In another dream, my dad was an angel. his see-through body dangling in the air, floating above me, face shimmery like tinfoil. And I cried and cried when he told me, I can't come back to Earth now, not ever. When my dad told me, you will always be my daughter. Maybe it was like that. Will I be allowed to come back to Earth and be your son?
Our fifth finalist, coming from Sanford School, Perrin Brown.
Invisible Children by Mariana Llanos. Invisible children fall through the cracks of the system like Alice in the rabbit hole. But these children won't find an eat me cake or a drink me bottle. They won't wake up on the lap of a loving sister. They'll open their eyes on the hand of a monster called negligence, who'll poke them with its sharp teeth and bait them with its heartless laughter like a wild thing in a wild rumpus. But the children won't awake to the smell of a warm supper, nor will they find a purple crayon to draw an escape door or a window. Instead, they will make a murky puddle, a mirror of a murky puddle on the city street, which won't tell them they're beautiful, but it'll show their scars as invisible to others as these children are.
From St. Mark's High School, our next finalist, Abigail Ehemann.
Dawn by Ella Higginson. The soft tone clock upon the stair chimed 3. Too sweet for sleep, too early yet to rise. In restful peace I lay with half-closed eyes, watching the tender hours go dreamily. The tide was flowing in. I heard the sea shivering along the sands, while yet the skies were dim, uncertain, as the light that lies beneath the fretwork of some wild rose tree within a thicket gray. The chanticleer sent drowsy calls across the slumberous air. In solemn silence, sweet it was to hear my own heart beat. Then broad and deep and fair, trembling in its new birth from heaven's womb, one crimson shaft of dawn sank through my room.
Our next finalist, hailing from Red Lion Christian Academy, Hunter Brown.
The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here, at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Bring me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these. The homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
From Paul M. Hodgson's Vocational Technical High School, our next finalist, Maiss Hussein.
If They Should Come for Us by Fatima Asghar. These are my people, and I find them on the street and shadow through any wild, all wild. My people. My people, a dance of strangers in my blood. The old woman sorry, dissolving to wind, bindi, a new moon on her forehead. I claim her my kin, and sew the star of her to my breast. The toddler, dangling from stroller hair, a fountain of dandelion seed. At the bakery, I claim them too. The Sikh uncle at the airport who apologizes for the pat down. The Muslim man who abandons his car at the traffic light, drops to his knees at the call of the adhan. And the Muslim man who sips good whiskey at the start of Maghrib. The lone kala at the park, pairing her kurta with Crocs. My people. My people. I can't be lost when I see you. My compass is brown and gold and blood. My compass, a Muslim teenager, snapback and high tops, gracing the subway platform. MashaAllah, I claim them all. My country is made in my people's image. If they come for you, they come for me too. In the dead of winter, a flock of aunties step out on the sand. Their dupattas turn to ocean. A colony of uncles grind their palms, and 1,000 jasmines bell the air. My people, I follow you like constellations. We hear the glass smashing the streets and the nights opening their dark. Our names, this country's wood for the fire, my people. My people, the long years we've survived, the long years yet to come. I see you. Map my sky, the light, your lantern long ahead, and I follow. I follow.
Our next finalists, coming from Mount Sophia Academy, Olivia Stevens.
Truth by Gwendolyn Brooks. And if sun comes, how shall we greet him? Shall we not dread him? Shall we not fear him? After so lengthy a session with shade, though we have wept for him, though we have prayed all through the night, years. What if we wake one shimmering morning to hear the fierce hammering of his firm knuckles hard on the door? Shall we not shudder? Shall we not flee into the shelter? The dear thick shelter of the familiar, propitious haze. Sweet is it, sweet is it, to sleep in the coolness of snug unawareness. The dark hangs heavily over the eyes.
Coming up next, from MOT Charter High School, Grace Sullivan.
Kites by Stephanie Burt. Complete in ourselves, we look like scraps of paper anyway. Left alone, we could tell our mothers and one another our owners' flimsiest secrets and play together all day until we became intertwined, which is why you try to keep us permanently apart. One of us is a gossamer pirate ship, a frigate whose rigging the industrial sunset highlights, sail by oblong sail. Another resembles a Greek letter, gamma or lambda. Others still, a ligature, a propeller, a fat lip. Our will is not exactly the wind's will, underlined by sand, whose modes of coagulation and cohabitation none of the human pedestrians understand. We take off on our almost arbitrarily lengthy singletons of string towards the unattainable, scarily lofty realm of hawk and albatross, and stay, backlit by cirrocumulus. It seems to be up to you to keep us up in the air and to make sure our paths never cross.
Closing off round two, our last contestant from Delaware Valley Classical School, Jono McGarvey.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love not too much. But how, when thou hast made me such, and dost thy gifts bestow, how can I love too much? Though I must fear to lose and drown my joy in care with all its thorns. I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou, I know not why, didst kill my childish trust, that breach with toil did I repair, because I must. And spite of frighting schemes with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams, so far I have hoped well. But what the heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought shall quite exculpate thee? I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? The love from which began my question, sad and vain, justifies thee to man.
This concludes round 2. We will now take a 10-minute break to stretch our legs and enjoy some special music from DJ Tim, and we'll come back with a special guest performance. Until then, let's please give our contestants a round of applause. Thank you, and again, we will be back. Please enjoy your break. We'll come back with a special guest performance, and those out there on YouTube land, please stay around. Thank you.
real and your mind is open wide. Set it only time. You will never see the light when you feel the vibe and your mind is open. Listen to the vibe. Listen to the vibe. It's got you open wide. Listen to the vibe. Listen to the vibe. It's got you open wide. People, won't you be so kind to lend us all your ears? You got to join us in the vibe phenomenon that's real. You know you're truly saying it when you're saying it what is real.
Test, test. Ready? We're good? Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. Yep. I ask the audience to please return to their seats, please. We're about to start. All right, thank you, everyone. As I said, we're going to have a sort of 10-minute break, but as I alluded to earlier, you do the math. Was it 10? Was it not 10? I don't know. But welcome back. Thank you, guys. And we're going to have a short special guest performance during this part of the intermission. But before we introduce our special guest, I'd like to introduce again back to the stage Dr. Tracy Curry.
Good evening. So before we start round 3, we have the special guest, but I have to do an introduction to her. And the way that I'm going to do this introduction is by talking about the impact of poetry out loud in connection to her. So you all get to listen to me, but really what I'm about to say is really for her to hear. So we know the impact of poetry out loud. We know it from a local level, starting with the high schools, and from a state level, being here across the state of Delaware. We know it from a national level, beyond and across the nation and beyond. And then on a global level, social media, and if I go old school, WWW. Y'all know that, right? Right? World Wide Web. But on a micro level, if we look at the impact, what we have are students who get to go to the anthology and study the works of published authors who are writing their stories, and who are not only writing their stories, but writing their identities. When that happens, then often enough, it impacts and inspires those generations, those youth, to write their own stories and share their own voices. And when that happens and they begin to share their own voices, they are carving a pathway for a generation behind them. You see the ripple effect, right? So generation after generation after generation. And so what I'm really saying is that you can probably imagine that that generation that is writing the stories right now will be in Poetry Out Loud's anthology in the future. Put a pin in it right there. The other part is this. We are in our 19th year, next year being 20th. Ooh, exciting. And in this 19th year, this seems to be the year where organizations across Delaware are asking us to feature Poetry Out Loud. And we, Poetry Out Loud, under the Delaware Division of the Arts, are answering the call. So after this competition is over, you'll notice in the program, and for those who are watching us live, that you'll notice that there are events that are taking place in March at the Delaware Art Museum, and in April, and Dover Art League, and in May at the University of Delaware, and they get to feature and share their voices. And so tonight, one of those prolific voices coming to the stage is an amazing being. Now, I've had the opportunity to work with her, but I have to give credit to our teaching artist, Miss Dana Kinsey, who's worked with her a lot longer than I have. So coming to the stage, this wonderful being who will be featuring beyond this competition from St. Mark's High School, Kenneth Johnson.
Dear everyone who wants to know me, I am the day of my birth, 7, completed fully. I am pink, which every hue my soul reflects. I am a stage where feelings rush and scenes change, but I am at home. I am my hope, my light in the darkest night. I am my own firefly. I am my mother's starry night. Although full of oddity, she sees me as a masterpiece. I am fire. My passion, like flames, engulfs my life. I see myself and my beauty. It wasn't easy to find my image because I am unique and nothing quite defines me. I used to wish I'd been a prom queen, fighting for the title. A line I related to, sung by Marina in Teen Idol. I feel alone, but never truly lonely. My soul silently forever my friend, because through time and space, I felt a bond with those I've chosen. My name, meaningful to no other but me, crafted just hours after my existence was complete. A name that took thought, teeming with significance, a tribute to my ancestors and their resilience. My mother went into labor, not knowing what my name would be, but in the end, it came automatically. Kenneth Margot Audrey Johnson. I am what I am, and whatever I am chooses to exist for eternity.
Wow. I'm stunned, honestly. Can we have another round of applause for Kenneth, everybody? And with that amazing performance, welcome back to what will now be round 3 of Poetry Out Loud. The public recitation of great poetry is a way to honor the speaker, the poem, and the audience all at once. Hearing a poem spoken aloud, we discover that a poem is, before anything else, an event to the ear. In the hands of the poet, our everyday speech becomes a musical instrument. The meaning of the poem, we find, lies as much in the sound of its words as in their senses. The art of poetry recitation as a competitive event is as old as the Olympic Games, believe it or not. Along with wrestling, long distance running, and the javelin toss, the ancient Olympics included contests in both music and poetry. Last year, over 300,000 students from more than 200 high schools within the 50 United States, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands competed in Poetry Out Loud. Isabella Callery of Minnesota was named national champion in Washington, D.C. This year, Delaware had 17 schools, approximately 1,000 students, and over 50 teachers participate in Poetry Out Loud. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the teachers in our state for their enormous contribution to the Poetry Out Loud competition. Without you guys at the center, this competition wouldn't be what it is without you all. Now, on to our final round in the Delaware Poetry Out Loud competitive poetry recitation. Tonight's winners will move on to our national finals of the Poetry Out Loud contest held in Washington, D.C., April 30th to May 2nd. Our 5 state finalists this evening will now recite their third poem. Their scores will be added to the previous rounds, and the highest score of all 3 rounds will take home the state title. We'd like to ask the 5 state finalists to come up to the stage and participate in this final round as I announce them. So, without further ado, and in no particular order whatsoever, our first finalist of the 5 from Smyrna High School, Joelle Caternor.
A Hymn to God, the Father, by John Donne. Wilt thou forgive that sin where I begun, which was my sin though it were done before? Wilt thou forgive that sin through which I run, and do run still, though still I do deplore? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. Wilt thou forgive that sin which I have won others to sin and made my sin their door? Wilt thou forgive that sin which I did shun a year or two, but wallowed in a score? When thou hast done, thou hast not done, for I have more. I have a sin of fear, that when I have spun my last thread, I shall perish on the shore. But swear by thyself that at my death, my sun shall shine as he shines now and heretofore. And having done that, thou hast done. I fear no more.
All right, I'd like to apologize. We're actually going to call the remaining 4 final contestants up to the stage. The second of the finalists, of the 5 finalists, from Mount Sophia Academy, Olivia Stevens. Our third finalist, from MLT Charter High School, Grace Sullivan. Our fourth finalist, Maiss Hussein from Hodgson Vocational Technical High School. And our fifth finalist, Jono McGarvey from Delaware Valley Classical School.
I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line across the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet cannot be but gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
Up next is Maiss Hussein from Hodgson Vocational Technical High School.
Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity. It asked a crumb of me.
Don't mind if I like candles. I like to watch us playing. Baby, I'm not the one you like. Come closer, baby.
fourth contestant for round 3 is Grace Sullivan from MLT Charter High School.
Why? Because the Dazzling Sun by Emily Bronte. Why? Because the dazzling sun restored my earth to joy. Have you departed, everyone, and left a desert sky? All through the night your glorious eyes were gazing down in mine, and with a full heart's thankful sighs, I blessed that watch divine. I was at peace and drank your beams as they were life to me, and reveled in my changeful dreams like petrel on the sea. Thought followed thought, star followed star, through boundless regions on, while one sweet influence, near and far, thrilled through and proved us one. Why did the morning rise to break so great, so pure a spell, and scorch with fire the tranquil cheek where your cool radiance fell? Blood red he rose, an arrow straight, his fierce beam struck my brow. The soul of nature sprang elate, but mine sank sad and low. My lids closed down, yet through their veil I saw him blazing still, and bathe in gold the misty dale, and flash upon the hill. I turned me to the pillow then, to call back night and see your worlds of solemn light again throb with my heart and me. It would not do. The pillow glowed, and glowed both roof and floor, and birds sang loudly in the wood, and fresh winds shook the door. The curtains waved, the wakened flies were murmuring round my room, imprisoned there till I should rise and give them leave to roam. O stars and dreams and gentle night, O night and stars, return and hide me from that hostile light that does not warm but burn, that drains the blood of suffering men, drinks tears instead of dew. Let me sleep through his blinding rain and only wake with you.
And for our final finalist of round 3, from Delaware Valley Classic School, Jono McGarvey.
Beginning by James Wright. The moon drops 1 or 2 feathers into the field. The dark wheat listens. Be still. Now. There they are, the moon's young, trying their wings. Between trees, a slender woman lifts up the lovely shadow of her face. And now she steps into the air. Now she is gone, wholly into the air. I stand alone by an elder tree. I do not dare breathe or move. I listen. The wheat leans back toward its own darkness, and I lean toward mine.
Right. All right. Let's give them all a round of applause. That concludes all 3 rounds of Poetry Out Loud's competition for this evening. While the judges tabulate the contestants' final scores, I love the word tabulate, please enjoy music from DJ Tim Dog. All right. Let's give a round of applause for DJ Tim Dog.
You guys having a good time tonight? Hold on, let me try that one more time. You guys having a good time tonight? All right, now for those who was here last year, last year I did a tribute to hip hop. Almost turned this thing into a straight up party. But tonight we're gonna keep that same energy going. I'm gonna need y'all help in the audience to help me out. All right. All right. So let me try. So we're gonna have some fun, and let's cheer on our 5 contestants one more time. Make some noise for them. Come on, y'all.
Excuse me, Dougie friend. Yes! Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic with 1 minute rhymes that don't come out right? They fight. They never write. That's not polite. Am I lying? No, you're right. Well, tonight, on the very night, you're about to hear, we swear, the best rappers of the year. So cheer it up, yeah. Scream bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Check it out now. No doubt now. Yeah. Check it out now. No doubt, yo. Special girl, real good girl. Biggest thing in my itty bitty world. Call her up and she made me feel right. Wish the bliss could never take flight. Sitting back with this mic in my hand. Spitting hot shit, trying to see grand. Imprinted on my mind every minute. Make my plans and you always in the job.
You are not ready. Unstoppable dynasty. Young over. I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. Let you know. It ain't where I've been. But where I'm about to go. Top of the world. I just wanna love you. she was checking up for me. From the game, she was sitting in my ear. You think that she know me? Decided to cheat. Conversation got heavy. She had me feeling like she's ready to blow. What y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe, so clear. Look out. Pop, it's showtime. Showtime. Guess who's back again? Oh, they don't know. Gonna tell. I bet they know as soon as we walk in. Show up. I'm wearing Cuban links. Designer mix. Inglewood's finest shoes. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La, 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 la. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side, so I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the keys to my truck. Get the shark cause I'm faded. Honey's in the streets, say money, yo, we made it. It feels so
All right.
good in my hood.
I'm gonna have some fun with you in the audience.
The summertime
Stay with me.
skies and canal. The gangbangers forgot about the drive-by. You gotta get your groove on before you go get paid. So
Alright, stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny, but yo, I'm making money, see? So yo, world, I hope you're ready for me. Now gather round. I'm the new fool in town, and my sound's laid down by the underground. I drink a bottle of Hennessy you got on your shelf, so just let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty, pronounced with the umpty. Yo, ladies, all
Now.
to funk thee. And all the rappers in the top 10, please allow me to bump thee. I'm stepping tall, y'all, and just like Humpty Dumpty, you're gonna fall when the stereo's pumping.
I'm gonna see the first row. I want to see the first row. Get up, do this.
Oatmeal lumpy, I'm sick with this. Straight gangster Mac. But sometimes I get ridiculous.
Watch this.
It's electric.
Now don't be scared. Y'all can get up and just do electric slide. There you go. Let me see y'all do it. Come on.
it's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. It's electric. You gotta mess together with the fucking technologies that moving like she's all got to do it. You gotta know it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. That you can't hold it. It's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. But you know it's there. Yeah, there and everywhere.
Uh-oh, she gonna help you out. She gonna help you out. Come on, y'all. All right, y'all. Let's make some noise for him, y'all. Make some noise for him. Come on, make some noise for him. Hold on. Now, you five, don't go nowhere. Since y'all was able to do electric slide, let's see if y'all can do this. Now, for those who think they can do the Cupid shuffle, y'all can come on up and try the Cupid shuffle as well. Come on. Oh, here we go. Come on. There we go. There you go.
We got a brand new day.
Don't say what you're doing, trying to do somebody cold. Just let the music come from my soul.
There we go. Thank you for the light. I appreciate that.
They got a brand new dance. You got
Oh.
a brand new dance. It's called a Cupid.
Shout out DJ Trip in the audience. What's up, Trip?
Here we go. We gonna show you how it goes. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick, now kick, now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself. Now, show you that. Come on, show you that. Let me see you do the jump. Now, show you that. Show you that. Oh yeah, come on. Let me see you do the shuffle, baby.
All right. Let's give these poets a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for them. You see, not only are they talented, they actually can dance.
Talents all around. Oh my goodness, so great. Give another round of applause for DJ Tim Dog. All right. Before we present the awards, let's acknowledge the tremendous efforts of our student contestants and my mistake. Let's give another round of applause to the contestants. All right. So our finalists have enjoyed their experience with Poetry Out Loud, perhaps have become lifelong fans of poetry, hopefully. Maybe some of you have never thought that you could perform in front of so many people or dance in front of so many people and share the joy of the written word. I'd like to invite one of our two poet laureates up to stage with me, twin poet Al Miller, and sadly his brother Namdi Chukwocha wasn't able to make it here today, but he's going to share a few words of poetry with us, or importance of poetry. But before we do, I want to ask you a question. Just one question. I remember my first time being here at Poetry Out Loud was in 2016 as a contestant. You were the host of that contest, and specifically, and I've seen the inner workings of Poetry Out Loud as an educator, as a judge, as a word accuracy judge, and now as a host, and this is my second year hosting. It's been an amazing experience. It's been an amazing journey throughout. So my question is, out of all the things you've seen from Poetry Out Loud, whether you were the host or just an onlooker, what is one of your favorite memories at Poetry Out Loud?
It varies every year. It's always a moment that sticks out where it just touches me. Like, I remember that poem, that's my favorite poem. And to hear one of the children do your favorite, well, youth do your favorite poem is amazing, especially when it touches you. I remember, and this evening, it was the Nikki Giovanni poem. I remember my grandmother reading me that poem, and it's like, oh, wow, like I'm supposed to be sitting here. So it's those moments right there that just touch me. Thank you. Good question.
No problem. Thank you. Round of applause for Al, everybody. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, we will present. All right, we'll be presenting the certificates and awards to our contestants. So before our third, second, and first place winners are announced, each student will receive a certificate for participating as a finalist in tonight's competition. So I would like to ask if all the students could rise up and meet us up to the stage, and we'll hand each of them their award. Yeah. All right. All right. First award goes to Caliana Velasquez. Nife Anawo. Harrison Dabbs. Joelle Caternor. Perrin Brown. Abigail Ehemann. Hunter Brown. Maiss Hussein. Olivia Stevens. Grace Sullivan. And Jono McGarvey. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Jamie Feldman of Wilmington Friends School. We hope you recover. We wish you the best if you're watching from YouTube out there. And again, hope you recover soon. All right. And with that, we're going to announce our second runner-up, first runner-up, and our grand winner of the night.
Thank you. In third place, from the Delaware Valley Classical School, Jono McGarvey. And the runner-up from Smyrna High School, Joelle Caternor. And the person who will be representing Delaware at the National Poetry Out Loud competition in Washington, D.C. at the end of April 24, from Paul, Hodgson, Votech, Maiss, Hussein. Thank you. Can we please give everyone a round of applause?
And with all that being said, closing remarks will come from Executive Director of Delaware Division of the Arts, Jessica Ball.
One more round of applause for all of these contestants. Yeah. I'm not going to say a lot. I do just want to thank all of the teachers, coaches, and really the families, loved ones, friends of all of these students who have supported them in their interests and on this journey. Thank you for supporting one another. I peeped you all from back there sort of giving each other high fives and giving each other support. So you've all showed an incredible amount of skill, artistry, and bravery to come up here tonight. And you all did an amazing job. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations, Maiss. You're going to go back to DC, and we hope you bring it home for us in the national competition. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. I do want to say one last special thanks, especially to Tracy and to Sheila and to Christian. This wouldn't have been possible tonight without the three of them. So thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
And the contestants, please stay. We want to do some group photos with you guys up on the stage. So please remain on the stage so we can again take the group photo. And with that said, thank you all for being here with us at the 19th Annual Poetry Out Loud Contest. Hope to see you guys again next year.